I don't have any. Oh well, I saw this movie last week. But yesterday I went to the movies again, and guess what I saw?
The Mario Brothers.
No, I wish it was full of children. I
Uh,
can't be there.
Dude, I went yesterday to watch this movie at 10 o'clock at night, and the theater, it was packed at the theater. I
Hmm.
was like, what the fuck? Why? And I asked one of the workers, they're like, they're all here for the Mario movie. I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Hell yeah,
Because technically it is the first big Mario film released in like what 30 years.
yeah, and also like it's technically like a holiday, so I think kids have I think kids have
It
Thursday and
is.
Friday off for it.
That's
Yeah,
right. It's Good Friday.
yeah. I mean,
Hmm.
it's a good Friday anytime a Mario movie comes out, I guess.
I forgot about that. Okay, fair.
Yeah. All
What
right.
so
Well,
what'd you watch?
I watched Air. I watched Air last night.
Oh, was it good?
It was so good. It's such a dad movie. I feel like you would love it.
Oh man, maybe I should watch it then. Because
I think you
there's
would. Yeah.
Mario and Air and then Renfield. Fuck it, I'm down to review all
Uh,
three.
yeah. Air was pretty good. I really enjoyed it. I saw one review that said this is like the most dad movie that ever dad. I feel like the best way to enjoy it is watching it on a plane. And I don't know what to say about dads and watching films on planes, but it just kind of tracks. I don't know.
I don't know, air travel, I guess.
Air travel. Oh, are you in your pun era? Is that what this
Yes.
is? Okay.
Yes. I'm not a father, but I've got jokes.
Well, you know what? I feel like we're kind of dodging the most obvious bit possible. This is a Dungeons and Dragons movie. We both played Dungeons and Dragons, so I feel like that there's something there. I think. Um, I don't know. Did you go into the movie like experiencing to have a lot of fan service, or like did not?
I went into this film very indifferent.
Okay.
Because here's the thing. Here's the thing. It's based on Dungeons and Dragons, right?
Yeah.
Uh, What does that mean? Because there's so much lore, there's so many characters. Like you make them up as you go. Part of the fun of the game is making your characters. But
Yeah.
that also means like there's so many ways to go about it. It's very easy to like go in a bad direction or in a good direction. I don't know, man. I was very indifferent going into it,
Okay.
and it's weird because I left the film indifferent.
Oh, okay.
So
All right.
I want to be clear.
We'll get
I'm not bashing the movie. I want to be very
okay,
clear.
okay. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. Okay, I think before we start, just do let me know because we played once together. I
Yeah,
remember that.
yeah. You were a
Um,
monk, a warrior monk.
I was a monk. That was the only time I played a monk. After that, I've exclusively played bard. Uh,
Have you played D&D since then,
yeah. What?
bro? Tell
What?
me, tell me. I got character sheets. I got character sheets for days.
Okay, fine. We'll play again together. Have you ever since? I don't remember what character class you were back then. Do you still play the same like
Dra- Dragonborn Paladin. Yes.
Dragon Ball Paladin? You would be a
Seidel.
paladin.
Yes, I Seidel. I'm a red Dragonborn who had a hammer. Had a hammer.
Had a hammer.
George melted it. I kept calling to some god. I can't remember. I have my notes somewhere. I
Yeah.
kept calling to a god, like to be my god, and I kept doing it for like the whole summer. So at the climax of the story, at the very end of the summer, when we're doing the last part of the story, I die, and the god is like annoyed with me. He's like, "You've called, and you've called, and you've called, and I refuse to answer, and still you call my name."
Yeah.
I just frustrated him, and he was like, "Maybe." So he melted my hammer and turned it into a shield, and I'm like, "Okay,
Okay.
I will protect." But
Okay. Well,
yeah,
that's
folks, if you've never played D&D, it's very fun.
it
Like
is.
it's a lot of fun. You need to learn how to play properly, but it's fun. Genuinely, a lot of fun.
Absolutely. If anything, I hope this movie helps to, make people want to try it at least.
I think so.
Yeah. Should we jump into it?
Hell yeah.
completely forgot this.
The intro?
No. I got it. I blanked out for a second. I don't know why. It's very. It's. How do I explain this? I haven't slept a full 8 hours until like last night in like a long time.
Bro,
I wake up at 4 a.m. every morning. What do you want me to say?
go to bed at a reasonable time.
I'm trying to go to bed at like 8:30 a.m.
9, dude.
Like
9 at the
the
latest.
most. Not at the latest. All right. Thank you for welcoming us into your headphones. My name is Chema.
And I'm Eddie.
Reviewing Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves. And this is the rollback. No experience necessary. A charming thief and a band of unlikely adventurers undertake an epic heist to retrieve a lost relic, but things go dangerously awry when they run afoul of the wrong people. So this is finally the Dungeons and Dragons movie, directed by John Francis Daley and Jonathan M. Goldstein, the people behind the movie Game Night. They're the same team. Starring Chris Pine.
It's a weird movie that no one talks about.
Game Night. It's such a good movie, right?
No, it's a great movie, but you ever notice no one talks about it?
No one talks about it, but I feel like when we start to remember, like, okay, what were the great comedy movies of the 2010s? I feel like it's going to be an underrated pick because it's super original. And I think a movie about adults playing board games were the right people to make this board game movie. So this stars Chris Pine, Michelle Rodriguez, Reg Jean Page, Justice Smith, and Sophia Lillis, and Hugh Grant. So this was, I think, one of the best trailers that we've ever had. With like when the trailer came out, it had comedy, it had action, it had a Led Zeppelin in the background. I think it was a good concept to sell, not to people who were fans of the game, but also people who were like on the outside. Because, for example, my dad saw that trailer and I was like, Led Zeppelin, I'm in. So I think it's good, and I think this cast will also help to like bring people in also, because you have to capture like a big audience for that. And what we ended up getting is, I don't know if this makes sense, but I feel like this movie is basically Guardians of the Galaxy, but with high fantasy instead of sci-fi.
So it's funny, you're not the only one that actually mentioned that. So we got the charismatic guy who's kind of useless. We have the strong female protagonist that does all the actual heavy lifting. We have a wood nymph, which I would say is probably that's Groot. I'm pretty comfortable saying that. We have a paladin that doesn't understand jokes and Drax, so all we're needing is Rocket. Which, funny enough, Bradley Cooper's in this movie.
Did the rest of your theater odd when he showed up? Because my whole theater just odd when he was like sitting in like the big chair and just like with like his feet dangling.
No, they were all like, "What?" Like legit, the dude that was closest to me, I just go, "What the fuck?" But
my theater odd, yeah.
But so this movie, I mean, it's so weird because D&D as a game again is something that's so open ended. I always thought, like, how do you make a film series about it? Unless every film is a different story, like,
which I hope it is. Honestly,
it should be. They should all be different campaigns.
Yeah,
because, like, okay, Honor Among Thieves, fair enough, I get it. But I think every single film should be a different story, completely different story. This movie did hook me in at the beginning, though.
Oh yeah, I think it starts
pretty well.
How to explain it? I think it starts pretty well because the setup is immediately like it hooks you, like it's got you, like it sets up what we want to get. Like we want to save Chris Pine's daughter, and just getting there is part of the fun and the ride of it. I like the characters. I think Chris Pine playing a bard is super funny because they could have because how do I explain it? Chris Pine is what in the industry they call a weird little guy, which he is like that Daniel Radcliffe, that Elijah Wood kind of character actor. But the thing is that he's in the body of a hunk. So when you put him in a movie, you can make him act very strange and very weird, and he'll always come off as charming. And that's a very hard quality to get. He rolled 10 on a charisma roll. Like he's got it. What?
It's a 20.
It's a 20. That's what I said.
You said he rolled a 10. Damn it,
10?
You said 10.
It's so early, man. It's
Damn
so
it,
early.
Chema.
Anyway, you can cut that out. Anyway, he rolled 20 on a charisma roll. Like he's up there already. So making him a bard and weirdly making him the kind of the leader, the default leader, kind of really works. Because weirdly enough, the hunk character in this movie is the paladin, is Ray John Page from Bridgerton. Like when he showed up in the screen, like everyone in the theater just kind of like melted. Like it was pretty funny to watch.
I like that he wasn't there for the whole time. I like the fact that he was around for a minute. Well, not a
Yeah.
minute. He was around for what might be the best sequence in the whole film, the heist.
One of
But
the
he
best
was,
action sequence, yeah.
yeah, he was around for maybe the best part of the film, and then took off. Like he wasn't around the whole time, so I appreciated that.
Yeah.
But the like from the very beginning, like they had me hooked at the very beginning, with Chris Pine telling a story, and it's funny because it's they did a lot of things in there right, like exposition,
Yeah.
but normally it feels like an exposition dump. But in this particular case, it was like it was framed in such a manner that it was like, okay, I kind of like this. I like where they're going with this. Fair enough. All right, I like his backstory, and I love the fact that when the what's his name, is it Fitzgerald? No, it's what's the name of the guy? 2 year sentence. Go to
Forge
jail.
Fitzwilliam?
No, no, no,
Fitzwilliam?
the one that he tackles.
Oh, Jonathan?
Yeah, darn Jonathan, not again. And they grab him, jump out, and I started laughing like hell when he was like, "But we granted you your pardon."
Honestly, you know what that scene reminded me of? Like that scene felt like if it was a campaign,
Yeah,
like that would be the moment where like the characters would be like, okay, you know what? Let's just skip the whole granting me your pardon. Like let me just roll so I can escape right now.
yeah.
And
And they rolled
and,
a
and like
20.
the DM is like, but I have a whole thing planned. It's like, okay, fine, roll. It's like rolls. It's like, okay, you managed to escape, but you need the guy to show up in order to escape with him. What's his name? Oh God, Jonathan. It's like, did you say Jonathan? Did you say
No,
Jonathan? It's like,
Jonathan.
yes, his name is Jonathan. Like that's like it felt like improv while playing D&D. Like it honestly felt like there's a lot of moments in this movie where it feels like that. Like every time that a character would fail a spell, in my head, I'm like, oh, they probably rolled. They probably failed to roll. Like they probably.
Yeah, and it's funny because Chris Pine, he does such a great job of like he hams the hell out of it.
Oh yeah.
But not in a bad way. Like this feels like the most Chris Pine. He's only 42, dude. I thought he was in his 50s.
No, he's super young.
I thought he was older for some reason. Hmm.
Yeah.
But he eats this film every second that he's on screen.
Yeah.
Like he hams it up. But he's never ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like there's a fine line between like over the top stupid,
Yeah.
like in the original Dungeons and Dragons movie with Jonathan Irons.
Yeah.
He hams
Jeremy
it.
Irons.
Sorry, Jeremy Irons. He overly hams it the fuck up, like to a point where it's ridiculous. In this, perfect balance. Perfect balance.
I honestly like the hamminess of the original D&D movie because I feel like it's a fantasy world. You kind of have to go that hard. And in this one, the worst thing that this movie could have been was mediocre. Honestly, to me, that's the worst thing this movie could have been. I just wanted a fun ride. Like when people complain that and they say like, "Oh, action movies feel like roller coasters," I wanted this movie to feel like a roller coaster, and I ended up pretty satisfied. I like these characters. I do think that comparisons to Guardians of the Galaxy are gonna be like are you cannot stop them. Like they have to happen.
Yeah.
But I think Chris Pine is like a good face to put in the front to sell the movie, and I think it was a better choice to have him playing like the bard who makes the plans and who kind of like weasels his way out of situations instead of like having him as like I don't know a paladin or like something. I like how the characters are kind of like dumbasses. Like it really helps.
Well, they felt real. They didn't have all the answers. They were trying to figure shit out as they went.
Yeah.
And he's not the dude. Chris Pine, his character, who's the main character, he's not the type of individual that's just gonna force his way through and figure everything out and we're gonna win. It's a lot of bullshitting your way towards the ending.
Yeah, and that is what D&D is about. It's about bullshitting with your friends until you make it to the end. Michelle Rodriguez though does play it very, very straight. She is the muscle, she is the tank, she's the warlock of the group, and I think physically and like in the way that she acts, she was good cast for that role because she just needed to look cool in action scenes and deliver some cool one-liners, and I think she did it the right way. That scene when they're like about to be like when their heads are about to be cut off, and she goes, "What kind of axe is that?" And she just starts like talking to the guy, like, yeah,
You're
and
about to behead you, and these are your questions. Come on, man, just tell me.
what do you use to clean it with? Like, yeah, like those are the scenes that you kind of want. And when I was watching her, like in that those action scenes, um, her how do I say this? The way that her body was like the armor and everything, like the way that aesthetically that she looked, that's kind of like how I imagine Aloy from Horizon Zero Dawn looking if they ever make like a live action Horizon Zero Dawn movie. That muscly strength, like strong character. I kind of want to see if they ever do like a Horizon movie. That's like the kind of like character actor that I want to see play Aloy. But yeah, she was cool. She had cool one-liners, she had cool action scenes. I like how she got along with daughter really well. She was a good addition to the movie, I think.
Is she an original creation? Because she has a D&D lore page.
Oh,
Helga.
Holga?
Helga. Yeah,
Hilga?
Holga. Yeah.
I don't. I'm assuming they're original creations, but maybe they just added like a page for them after the movie.
It might be. Well, no, according to this, there's a lot going back here. Flashback 11 years before 2020. Either way, though, badass character. I would not want to fight her in a dark alley.
Oh hell
Um,
yeah! Also, it's pretty funny that like she is like the barbarian character. So like immediately we all went like, oh, she's a barbarian. She's and she mentions having a husband. It's obviously gonna be a halfling. Obviously,
really? You thought that was
it's
obvious?
it was kind of obvious. I knew that was a joke that we're gonna do, but in a good way, not a bad way.
I was kind of wondering what, you know what, that makes sense that her husband would be a halfling. No, you're right. Fair enough. Um, but okay, so they escape, and then they go to assemble a team so they could. Wait, no, they escape. They go to Neverwinter
Yeah,
to try and like hey, we need the artifacts, and you want my daughter back, yada yada. Hugh Grant turns out to do what Hugh Grant does and be an asshole. He turns his back on them. He makes them seem like the bad guys. Somehow turn Chris Pine's daughter against him.
yeah,
And now they must assemble a team to retrieve an artifact, and they're going to go from there.
yeah,
And that's where we get to meet maybe the funny. I really like this character. Justice Smith's character, Simon. I actually really liked
yeah.
him. I thought he was
So
hilarious.
I think Justice Smith has such a knack for playing. I don't want to say pathetic characters, but like
Pathetic characters.
no, but like pathetically inclined characters in a funny way. Like a lot of people disliked him in Jurassic World, like in the second one, because he was yelling the entire movie. Here's the thing:
Oh, that's right.
Justice Smith has a very funny yell, so I didn't mind that at all. So I like him. I liked him
Detective Pikachu.
I like him in Detective Pikachu. I really like him in his supporting role in the movie Paper Towns. That's where I first saw him. And it's been really cool to see him just grow up and like all these characters. Um, but he just seems like he fits right in. He fits right into this world. When I saw him with like the cape and everything, I'm like, he looks like he has always been part of this world. Like Chris Pine looks like Chris Pine, but he looks like, when I saw him with the little pointy ears and everything, like it would make sense. And I feel like he represents like that guy who's like probably new to D&D and he's like screwing everything up. So he feels like that character. Like he just wants to like take a part of everything, but he's not an expert yet. And then through him, we meet Sophia Lillis's character, Doric, who is the druid, who she was the girl in the It movies. She's been in a lot. She's been in a few things since then, and I think she plays that like straight man character really, really well. Like she's there to like counterbalance Justice Smith in a way, because she's an expert, but she's also kind of like emotionally a little closed.
Well,
Uh,
I love the fact that I don't know how to say this right. Arguably, the smallest character had the most power in a
oh yeah,
sense. Like I like the fact that she could go from owl bear to like little mouse to deer, different things. Basically, to
yeah,
me, I don't know why I liked the dynamics of her character, and I like the way all four of them kind of mix so well together.
yeah.
But then we get the fly in the oil, the wrench in the monkey in the wrench, I guess. The pain in the ass.
Okay.
Reggie Page. Reggie Jean Page.
Look, Hugh Grant can play an ass very, very well. Like he is. After watching Paddington 2, like to me, this is like the guy who needs to play a villain every single time because he's such a pompous asshole,
Did
and
he
he
used to be
plays
very
it so.
charming?
No, but he plays it so well, like in a good way. Like I think it comes up really naturally. Have you seen those like the when they interview someone and they have like the Google Answers thing
No.
on YouTube? No,
Never seen it.
uh,
Tell me about it.
you've never seen any of those? Like the you never seen the
No.
Google? No, okay. So on YouTube, there's like this series where they interview people, but they give them like this boards with like the questions that Google asks about someone.
Uh-huh.
And so Chris Pine, Michelle Rodriguez, and Hugh Grant did it like together. And it's the funniest one because it's just the three of them being absolute bitches towards each other. And if you watch it, you're like, oh, Hugh Grant was not acting. Like he's really this asshole. And in a good way, I think it's the kind of villain that you want to have in a movie. Um, so I like you kind of want to hate him, but you would love to hate him. Like, and that's the kind of villain that you really want to have in a movie.
But wasn't his character wasn't didn't his career get built on being like a hunk in the 90s?
Yeah,
So weird. So
I know.
does that mean Henry Cavill is going to be a bastard in about 20 years?
Yeah, 20, 25 years.
Son of a bitch. Fair enough.
I saw when Moon Knight came out, I saw like an interview with Ethan Hawke, and because he was doing that and he did Black Phone like in the same year, and they asked him like, why are you suddenly playing these villain characters? And he went, because I'm older. Like I can't play the hunk anymore. Like this is what this is what actors do now.
I need to be the bad guy, and then eventually I'll get to a point where I can pull a Keanu Reeves and be action good guy again.
Hopefully. I mean, was Ethan Hawke ever like an action guy? I don't know.
Ethan Hawke, what's he in Black Hawk Down?
I don't think I ever saw that.
I was joking.
Oh,
Sorry,
well,
Ethan Hawke, Black Hawk Down. He was
oh,
in Training Day. Does that count as an action?
oh, that's
Okay,
right. That's
Assault on
right.
Precinct 13.
No, you're right. I completely forgot about Training Day
Or the,
because Denzel just like overshadows him the whole movie.
Training Day. I won't say it's overrated, but it's a little overrated. Also,
It's not that it's
Daybreakers.
overrated. It's not that it's overrated. It's just that that year Denzel won the Oscar over Crow for A Beautiful Mind, and people got mad.
A Beautiful Mind was good
Yeah,
for
but
Oscar. But anyway, so let's
yeah,
talk about D&D. So one of the things I like about this film is the fact that they do use a lot of locations from the actual game itself. The games, the characters, I'll give them credit. Whoever wrote this film, the team that wrote this film, are legit D&D fans. Like they're actual, like it's not like the studio like grabbed some people and were like, hey, you three, write a script. Like,
yeah,
no. This was written, created, and directed by fans of the game, people who actually have an imagination for it. And I
yeah.
appreciate that. Even if it wasn't necessarily my cup of tea, I can see the love that went into making this movie.
Yeah, this is the kind of story that you want to add to fit into this aesthetic world. It's like when they make a new Final Fantasy game. Like you don't have to re-go again, just tell a new story in the same world with the same elements. Because let me tell you, because I feel like I'm an okay fan of D&D. Like I'm not a huge fan. I'm an okay fan. Like I can get terms wrong, but let me tell you, when I saw the gelatinous cube,
Mhm.
I got excited. Because like
Really?
Because like it was such a random little thing, and I was like, oh, nice. Like, yeah, that is exactly the kind of thing you want to have in your movie.
You know who I actually disliked in the film?
Who?
Uh,
The daughter?
no, no, no.
Uh,
I didn't. The daughter wasn't around enough for me to dislike her. But Themberchad, the pudgy red dragon.
what? He was such a little guy. What's what?
Uh, okay, this is twice now I have felt cheated by magical worlds when it comes to dragons.
What was the
Twice.
first one?
Smog.
What's wrong with Smaug? What's wrong with this? This dragon was pudgy. What? I want a plushie of this guy. Like, what's
I
wrong
don't
with
hate
him?
him. I don't hate him. I want to be clear. I don't hate him, but
Yeah.
I want a fierce, menacing dragon. And this guy was more like a very fierce, menacing, oversized, like sausage dog, like wiener dog.
Okay. What? What?
I did okay. I'm sorry. This is a
It's
dumb
a
thing. People are
it's a
gonna hearken.
ridiculous. I feel like it's a ridiculous movie. You kind of need a ridiculous dragon. Like,
But how often do we get a chance to watch like a big dragon fight?
you didn't like the dragon in Shang-Chi? You didn't like did you see did you see the Monster Hunter movie?
I have not.
It's bad, but it has Rathalos. That's one of the great video game dragons, and I think it looked kind of cool in the movie.
I just wanted a good dragon fight, and the fact that we got stuck with this guy, I'm like, man, again, it's a joke.
Yeah.
Like Smaug. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know it's a dumb thing. I like dragons, and
Okay.
I that's the reason why I was a dragonborn. There was at one point a campaign set up where I was gonna go after, like, it was a bigger campaign. It wasn't about me. But my goal in the campaign was going to be, we were going after this blue dragon. My goal was going to be to kill that son of a bitch, rip out one of his teeth, and have it made into a sword. All right.
Okay.
I don't know why. I just have a thing about dragons. And I was just a little disappointed with that pudgy dragon. I'm sorry. It just was. That said, though, that dragon was involved in one of the best, in probably the best action sequence of the whole film, the heist when they go to get the helmet.
Oh yeah.
After
They get. Yeah. Go ahead.
no, after they and not indoctrinate is the right word. After they draft, how do I pronounce Zen Yandar
Senkyender, yeah.
Zikinder, yeah. So they draft him. They agree to use everything for good, to go and get the helmet. And there's so many funny little parts in this whole little sequence that are perfect. From like the mind monsters, they will kill you if they sense a high intelligence. So they walk right towards it. That's kind of hurtful. Like shit like that is like
Yeah.
perfectly funny. Or the whole part was in there where Yandar is like, here's what we have to do. You must step on only even numbers for 5 steps, but every 5th step you must do a lateral move. Now, when you get to the other side, it goes to even, and then you must step laterally again. Now, let me explain one more time. Whoops, sets it off.
Yeah, that part was in the trailer and it was still funny. Like,
Yeah, some of the jokes that were in the trailers still landed.
yeah, the scene when they're bringing the corpses back to life and I asked them a
Yes.
question. That's it. The fact that they just kept doing it again because they kept screwing it up. It was.
But
The fact
that's
that they kept
D&D.
showing. Yeah, exactly. And they kept showing like the flashbacks of characters that were irrelevant, or like one of them is like, "You died in the war." Technically, what did you do? I died. I died getting out of the shower. Like it was super funny. Like you can tell that, like if I was a DM, I would have been like, they're gonna fucking love this. Like I'm gonna mess with them so bad.
No, oh shit. Okay, that's one.
Yeah.
Remember, in those flashback sequences, remember the dragon that's like flying around, that's like spewing like red, like black hot lava molten stuff?
Is that
That's
what you
the
wanted?
dragon. Yes! Yeah, I want epicness. I want that dragon. I want to fucking fight that dragon and have him be my goddamn Charizard. We'll name him Charizard. Charizard attack. Anyway,
Okay.
funny sequences all the way through. And then we finally get back to Neverwinter, where the games are happening, which honestly, really entertaining. Another thing that they did was, besides having the creatures, the set pieces, the lore, everything's great. Oh, one thing I wanted to bring a lot of attention to. So Simon, the sorcerer,
Yeah.
Justice Smith studied American Sign Language (ASL) for about a year and a half to 2 years, right? So, fun fact: when he does his spells during the actual film, he's actually using some sign language to sign what the spell does. Did you know that?
Yeah, I did. I saw a couple of interviews with him in the red carpet, and they talked about that, and I thought it was, yeah, good idea.
Brilliant,
Just
brilliant.
because it made him, like, what he was doing look very unique, but not in a generic way. Like, it kind of reminded me of, like, have you ever seen Naruto?
Yeah. Oh yeah. When
Uh,
they do the
yeah,
jutsu, this
ex
shit.
yeah, exactly. Like, it kind of reminded me a little bit of that, and I think that's exactly what you want to make your character kind of stand out. Yeah, no, good idea. I think I think he stood out because of that.
Agreed. Um, this so what were some things? And I'm sorry, I'm not trying to harken the film. What were some things that you really enjoyed, like some like positive takeaways that you had with it? Like, did this film have you entrenched the whole time? Were you finding trouble like trying to stay in it, or?
Well, I will say this. The only thing that I don't love about this movie is I think the pacing at the start is a little rough. I think the pacing and the editing a little rough at the beginning. Not that was like the one thing where I was like, oh God, I'm getting like a little it's getting a little hard for me to just to correctly follow up the start. But overall I thought it was innocent and fun, and it took advantage of the cast and the world. But yeah, I think a little bit of off pacing at the start, but overall, I kind of didn't care because I think it was pretty fun. Uh, I mean, we talked about it. I enjoyed the cast. I enjoyed the world. The effects were not like the best. I feel like we've seen better effects in other movies, but I did like that the movie felt. This is something that I talked about when we talked about The Last of Us. They built most of these sets. Like, a lot of these sets were built, especially for like the ending scene.
Mhm.
Like when they're fighting at the end, like that whole set exists. Like, it's not all green screen, and I like that. Um, how to explain it? And it has some moments that I'm not gonna confuse for other movies. Like, I never thought I was gonna see Hugh Grant get hit in the face by a potato in slow motion, and I love that.
That's such
Like,
a dumb part. Like, but I
I
liked it, but it was
loved
so
it.
dumb.
It's dumb in a way that fits in a D&D world, you know?
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
Rolling that
And
20.
also, like, we haven't talked about it, but that scene when Chris Pine is like, he's like a spell hologram, and he starts glitching and starts like melting into itself.
Oh, that's a nightmare. That's nightmare fuel.
It's nightmare fuel, but also like in a way where like, or like, oh shit, they screwed up the role. They're gonna
You're and you're right. You know what? There are things. You know what, man? Also, I'll give you this. The more we're
yeah.
talking about it, the more I'm beginning to be like, you know what? It actually was good. Like it wasn't as like meh as I thought it was.
Yeah. No,
The
no,
more we
no,
talk
and
about it.
like movies are allowed to be innocent and fun. Like, if anything, I think we learned from last year and this year that like a lot of movies that weirdly shouldn't succeed are succeeding, where other movies that are usually succeed are failing. Like, all superhero movies have tanked this year, and yet for some reason this Scream 6, Creed 3, and fucking John Wick are thriving. You know why? Because they're all fun, and you can tell the passion of the people that are making it. And in this one, this feels exactly like a real D&D campaign, because everyone has mixed charisma stats and no other useful skills. Like, it's exactly what you want to see as a fan and as like a moviegoer.
You know what? You're right. Like this movie was a lot of fun. It had a lot of going for it. The scenery, the stories, the humor, even the effects. So the CGI was shit in some parts. You got to admit, but other parts, the
Yeah.
CGI was fucking flawless.
But for example, there are some scenes that I really like. Like, there's a scene where when they discover Sophia Lillis, the druid, like when she's hiding as a mosquito, and then they start chasing her, and she starts changing into all these different animals. That whole sequence was just one shot. Sure, it's all digital because she keeps turning into like animals and escaping, but I like that it was one shot. Like, it was a wonder done right, because you really felt the action and how she kept changing into like the movies, sorry, into the animals. I had a good time with it. Honestly, like this is one of the few franchises where like every time that when we talk about the movie, at the end you always ask me like, what do you think about the second one? And I always go like, fuck no, like keep making original movies. But in this one, I'm like, I'll take another 10 of these. Like if you give me a different campaign every time, and they're all as fun. Like do this they did like they're doing Knives Out. Like have a different cast every time. Focus on a new campaign. You can make anything. Like it's such a good world to exist in and thrive in. You can just make a new movie with like a different subtitle and have a new cast, and you don't feel the need to continue the same story because the story has been told. So I'm into it. I had a great time. I had a great time with it. So no problem.
I wonder if they're going to go down that route with each one being a different story. Because think about it. Also, if you don't have actors signed to like long-term deals with bigger money, you can afford to keep the effects fresh. You're not maximizing contracts on any actors or actresses because you're not keeping them around longer than a cup of coffee. And you can tell so many stories.
Yeah.
I personally, what I wish we would have seen would have been like a small scale story, like in like a town or a village, like
Yeah.
start small and then go big. But I mean, no, the more we talk about it, the more I kind of realize this movie was fun. It was not what I was expecting, but it's not really fair to judge a film off of what I would have done.
Big bullshit blockbuster movies. This is what the movies are about, man. We're not even in the summer, and we've been getting banger after banger every week. I'm okay if we get another two or three of these. But do it new cast every time. Have a
Yeah.
good time with it. Yeah, why not?
What's it called? This movie. So the movie was $150 million and it's only grossed 80 mil. Do you think we should be worried about it?
Nah. But for
I,
example, well, we are getting the Mario movie this week. So that's gonna steal everything. Oof. I mean, I don't know. I don't think it should be worried. D&D is such a strong enough brand that has survived, years. It's still been trendy, like it's been brought back. It's caused death in real life. It's been part of it in the middle of controversy. A lot of kids got into D&D because the characters in like Stranger Things got into D&D. So like, I don't think it's in danger. I think people will see this as what it is. It's a fun experiment, and I think overall it's a very fun thrill ride. So why not? Why not make another one? Also, I feel
dude,
like this movie's gonna thrive when it comes to streaming.
dude, this so the Super Mario's Brothers movie
Yeah,
in just premieres. Oh my god. It already has $66 million.
and I'm gonna add to that.
Jeez. What if Super Mario Brothers it breaks 1 billion?
It might. It just might.
Ah, it's a kids movie.
It's.
Fuck.
I'm gonna watch it. Like, I don't care. I'm gonna
I mean,
watch it.
so am I, but still.
I know. All right. I mean, overall, what's that like? I give this a 4 out of 5. You know.
I think I'd give it a B. I think I need. I don't think I've said this very often. I think this is a movie I got to rewatch again. I think I need to watch it through fresh eyes
Mhm.
because
Like, did you go in wanting to dislike it, or
I
what?
went I went in hoping to like it, but the more
Mhm.
I saw, the more I was like, it's okay. But I guess it's also because I have a history with D&D, and I was kind of hoping they would do more things. I think I have that problem where it's like I have expectations of what I hope they do, and when they don't do it, oh, this is bad. It's like, it's not bad. It's just different.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, to me, as a person who has casually dabbled in D&D, like I haven't played a full campaign, like I've only like cameoed in other people's campaigns. I think this is exactly what I thought we were gonna get. Like we're gonna get a funny thrill ride set in the D&D world, and I was okay with that. It gave me exactly what I thought I was gonna get. What I did like also is that it didn't try to like hammer in any kind of modern uh references or anything. Like it really kept into the world. Like it really felt like this would be a campaign of people playing the game, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, overall, not a bad movie. Oh, yeah. One last thing, real quick.
Yeah.
So the maze, we didn't even talk about it very much. The maze
Oh
scene I
yeah, the
actually really love that.
dungeon,
The
the
actual dungeon
dungeons in the
part.
dungeon. Yeah, it's called Dungeons and Dragons. It had one dungeon and one dragon. So like, you know.
False advertising. No, there were there were two dragons technically. Remember the one that was flying with the molten vomit?
Oh yeah. In
Um,
the yeah.
but okay, so there's the maze in the battle pit whatnot where the characters are. In there, did you notice that there was another group of characters?
Oh yeah, from the cartoon. Yeah,
Yes, I don't know if I
yeah,
didn't know if you had known about that. I was like, oh yeah, that's right.
yeah.
Let me see. They also incorporate some stuff from like Critical Role, like the fresh cut grass. That's actually a reference to Critical Role.
Did you ended up watching Critical Role?
I have not. I've just been looking up any information I can learn about D&D when it comes to
Okay,
this film.
you should watch. You should. I think you will really like it. Because also because it's gonna freak you out because you're gonna see it and and be like, oh, these people are so fun. Oh, they're the voice actors who are in everything.
Then that must mean that their characters must be very emotive.
They are. Yeah.
Hmm. I know what. I want to see a sequel to this film. I want to see more of this.
Yeah.
And I hope it succeeds. I don't want it to fail.
Yeah. I mean, in a year where I think this is about to be like one of the biggest years in movies, and because all of these movies should have been saved for the summer and are coming out right now. So I think either the movies that were saved up during COVID are coming out throughout the entire year, and that's a good thing because I think between this and the Mario movie next week, and you know what, fuck it, I want to see the Pope's Exorcist. Like, we're slowly getting into that. Well, we're getting just a ton of movies. Susume is coming out next week. Oh god, like it's gonna be a nonstop fun year for movies, I think.
I think I need to get a membership with AMC
Oh yeah, start racking up those points, man.
because man, I'm spending so much like going to the movies every single time.
It's for work. It's for research.
Yeah, can I make it a tax write off?
I think you can. If
Let's
this
look it
thing
up.
makes money.
So it's not a tax write off. Sorry.
Kind of. All right. Well, anything else?
Nothing on my end. You?
I just had a good time, and I just needed this movie to be fun. It was fun. I'm happy. Yeah.
It fulfilled everything you ever wanted.
Fulfill what I bless you. It
Sorry.
fulfilled what I thought we were gonna get, and we got it, and I had a good time with it. So yeah, nothing to complain. Um, yeah. Anything else?
Nothing. Folks, next week we'll be reviewing the Mario movie.
Hell yeah. Uh,
Are we gonna review Air Jordan?
you know what? Try to see if you can squeeze it in, and if not, I'll try to make it like a solo thing. If not,
Yeah, that's fair. Fair choice.
yeah. All right.
All right, folks. That's gonna have it for this episode of the Rollback. Please like and subscribe. We greatly appreciate it. We're always trying to grow our podcast. Go check out our YouTube. Go check out our social media pages. Wherever you get your podcasts, we're probably there.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Chema.
I've been Eddie.
And this was the rollback. You know what was the most accurate D&D thing about this movie?
What?
The fact that it kept delaying they kept delaying the movie, so it felt like people playing a campaign were like, "Hey, I can't make it. Can we change the date? Can we do it some other time?"
Oh God, that's right. What if this movie had a post-credit scene of like the actors getting up from like a table?
That's what I thought it was gonna happen. Like I thought after credit scene would have been like the guys from Critical Role just like getting up from a table, that's what I thought was gonna happen. But turns out they weren't there.
You know what I just realized though? I'm really glad that fucking Vin Diesel was not involved with this at all.
Oh fuck, me.
No, he loves
I
D&D.
know,
He
him
loves
and
D&D.
then him and Manganiello too. They
Yeah.
both would have tried it.
Manganiello can come. Come on, come along, Deathstroke. Come along. You can be in the next one. You can be
You
a
know what was
rogue.
you know what was really funny about Manganiello?
What?
By the way, you can keep all this. So when I go watch movies in the theater, they'll show like ads for like future movies, but with people saying fun facts about it.
Uh-huh.
And someone was like DC Universe star Joe Manganiello. Like DC Universe star, he was in it for like 8 seconds.
If that. If that.
Like, shut the fuck out, DC Universe. Like, well-known actor for playing Deathstroke. No, he isn't. Shut the fuck up.
There's
He's more well-known for playing a stripper than shut the fuck up. Got it.
to say, what has he done that's significant?
He was in How I Met Your Mother.
Brad Morris. He was, oh man, he only made his appearance in Justice League, and that was it. Magic Mike. What to do when you're expecting sabotage. He was in Rampage. Oh yeah, he was Flash Thompson in Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, the original Spider-Man.
And he was in True Blood.